Poďme to skúsiť dohrať, čo niekoľko nám toho chýba, ale ako chcel bych to dohrať. Chtěl bych to dohrát, brášku. Čiže na to chvíľku nepôjde vám webka chvíľočku, ono to všetko fixne za chvíľočku. Jdu spát, zítra mám zkoušku, tak pápa, dobronc. Ja vám poviem, o čom to dechá, ja vám poviem. Ako nevieme presne, lebo sme to neprešli, ale ide tam o to, že vypočúvame Hanu a jak sa volá tá druhá chat? Hana a... Nie Ellen. Ellen? Nie. A Eve. No a my sme si mysleli, že Hana a Eve je jedna osoba, že proste má schizofréniu, lebo rozprávala proste o svojej sestre, že keď mala modrinu, tak mala aj ona, že keď, ja neviem, že mali úplne totožné menštruácie a všetky takéto píčoviny, tak sme si mysleli, že je iba chorá na hlavu a my hlavne vyšetrujeme, že kto zabil jej manžela. Alebo frajera. Takže zistujeme, čo sa deje v tej hre vlastne. A ona iba vypovedá. My tam hľadáme v laptope vlastne akéby stopy. Že takto vypadá tá hra, to je celá tá hra, napríklad. A my dáme napríklad, že sklárne, alebo dáme napríklad, že otec. OK, máme tu zrovna video, ktoré nevideli, takže otec. My to pozrieme. Tu si môže nejaký tak, alebo niečo, že podľa čo by som našiel, alebo či sa dozvedel v tom videu.
Yeah, when I was at school. I worked part-time in the front shop. It was sort of an extended family thing. My dad used to work there, my mum worked there before I was born. I took care of paperwork, filing, typing out invoices, that kind of thing. It was a good job for a girl back then. I didn't work a till or anything, I was quite shy, so I wouldn't have liked to have worked a till.
Tam sme zase nič nedozvedeli, aspoň mi to prišlo, to bolo také, že o ničom. No a na konci určite je vrát, neviem presne, to hráme prvýkrát, takže neviem. Len my potrebujeme proste zisťovať, že čo môžeme v tej výpovedi a všetko ako vypočúvali, potrebujeme získať informácie, takže ja neviem, čo chceme, hľadaný výraz. Keď dáme, že vražda, vraždu sme už videli, sestru sme už sami zapozreli všetky videá. Okno, prečo okno? Okno tam nič není. Tam dvere. Čo mi tam dali? Čo to bolo včera s nami? Možno... sex? OK, nové video.
I wouldn't say that. It could be passionate. It's just... it was more than that. It wasn't just sex like I had been with the other boys.
Matka. No, jedna povedala, že jej rodičia zomreli v spánku na otravu hríbami, keď ich tatko robil večeru, ktorý bol hubár, že sa otravili. A druhá povedala, že ako zomreli, čet?
Okay.
Pretože nezhodujú sa vôbec.
She's staring out of the window. She's sad. She's trapped. She's here. She's looking out the window because her mother won't let her out. Well, she wasn't my real mother, but she raised me. Do you want to hear the story? It's a real life fairy tale.
Pohádka. Pohádka.
Simon never cheated on me. He was devoted to me, and I was devoted to him. Nothing in life is easy. We were good to each other.
Toto má kérku, či teda druhá.
Life isn't a fairy tale. Do what you can.
Pohádka. Čo by nám ešte mohli? Neviera? Neviera? Příběh. Ok, tu je čosi, dve nejaké videá. To sú real výsluhy, či robili pre tú hru? Podľa pre tú hru robili.
is Rapunzel. The story starts when she's born. Mother Gothel, a witch, takes Rapunzel from her parents and keeps her locked up in this tower. Rapunzel gets pregnant by the prince, and Mother Gothel is furious, so she cuts off her hair and throws it. Actually, her hair's already short here, so that's already happened. But she throws her into the wilderness, and Rapunzel is reunited with the prince, who's blind. But she kills him with her tears, and so it's a happy ending. Is that too much?
Pičovina, dobre. Že nemáš, že nehovorí.
Like a story.
Jak nájdeme odpoveď?
And an end.
Že čo? Prostredie a konec?
Yes. Like a story. A beginning, a middle, and an end.
OK, skúsime konec. Nie, ja som mal escape, ja som kokot. Skúsime dať, že konec. Jedno video. Dobrú.
I wanted to see my reflection. I thought that if I touched her, something would happen. We would become one. One girl. The fairy tale was over, the witch was dead, and I'd be restored to my rightful place.
Práve místo. Odraz v zrcadle. Aha. Možno odraz. No ja som to vedomý videáčet. No a dívej sa, ja vám to ukážem, že toto je databáza, čo všetko máme odhalené. My musíme asi odhaliť ostatné veci, aby sme vyplnili celý príbeh a budeme vedieť, jak to dopadlo. Takže musíme hľadať toľko videí. Niektoré majú 2 sekundy, niektoré minútu.
Yes. The first time we saw each other, it was strange. We both realised at the same moment, I think. We must have seen each other before, but there was this instant when we first realised it wasn't a reflection. The reflection was staring back. I think I was 5. It was my birthday. My reflection was wearing a party hat and waving. I knew what party hats were from books. And it suddenly occurred to me, today must be my birthday. I waved back and we just spent ages waving at each other and copying each other's movements.
Ona je čudná, že? Ona je totálne nebla. Ona je totálne
Mother wanted me to grow my hair long, but I kept cutting it myself. I wanted to look like my reflection. She always had short hair when she was little. Mother would hide the scissors, but I would find a way. Cut it with a bread knife, something like that. My reflection would always leave her house and go on adventures, but I never could. Mother taught me at home, and I had books and TV. TV was magical, but it was only on when it wanted to be, so I spent a lot of time reading books.
No, takže môžeme, jak sa dozvieme viac o tom odrazovej sestre? Alebo dáme, že čarodejnice. Alebo dobrodružstvo, to som stala tiež. Dobrodružství. Nič. Adrian, čau. Čo nám dáme? Po česky to musíme písať. Nehoda. Máme už. Postel. Máme. Už teraz si to hovorím, že to je tá bez kerky, myslíš? No uvidíme, kámoško. Koľko ma stali kúty? 3,5 bráško, tak nejak? Vlasy. Čo by mi tam dali? Přátelé? Podľa mňa tam bude ešte niečo o tom, Simon je on ten, čo zomrel, my ho vyšetrujeme, že kto ho zabil, tak jeho šéfovci. Helen bola, sa mi zdá, jedna barmanka a tí šéfovci, počkaj, to vám niekde ukáž. Simon Smith, Ern Brothers. Ern Brothers, to nič. Photo of Simon. Peter, Susan. OK, Susan. Susan a Peter. Máme Peter. Susan. Nič ty kokot. Pohřeb sa píše, alebo ak sa píše u vás? Petr. Erik. A Erik tam bol, no. To už zisťovali. Skús psychiatrie. Včera si to písal po slovensky. Aha, možno to môže byť problém, ukáž. Nie. Dáme narozeniny. Dve nové videá.
Yes, that's my birthday. Not one of the big ones, but I guess you can see that. No. Well, yes. He found out on my birthday. I told him I was pregnant.
Tehotenství. Počúvajte, jedna je Hana, jedna je Eve, jedna má kérku a druhá nie je na ruke. Takže tak ich zistíte, ktoré sú, ale tým, jak sa správajú a tak, jedna je úplne že chorá.
Hannah had a miscarriage. This was late in the pregnancy and it left her infertile. Felt like the universe had corrected its course. We were aligned again. But Hannah and Simon were still living with his parents. They were married. Simon had a job at the Glaziers now. Eric had given him a full-time position after he left school. And then...
Potrat. Láska.
Childhood sweethearts. Something like that. Are you married, detective?
Detektív.
Must think it's very cool that their dad is a police detective. Must think it's very cool that their dad is a police detective.
Deti a táta detektív. Ja neviem, ako moc to môžem špecifikovať. OK, tu je čosi.
Diane is really nice. She helps out with the Glaziers, organises the Christmas party, that sort of thing. They have 2 kids, really sweet kids. She used to look out for me when I worked there.
Rúkas, môže byť.
I got a job to contribute, you know. Doug knew someone and I got a job as a dinner lady at the primary school. They said it didn't matter if I could cook or not, just don't poison the kids.
Yet,
so you see, it's always been complicated between me and Simon. It's never just been the 2 of us. There's always been pressure.
Dobre. Takže Diana, Doug, jedz auto.
Sorry. The picture, the way it's drawn, just reminded me of the books we used to read as children. I read those fairy tales over and over, and they were so real to me. Rapunzel was my favourite. My brain is just full of it. How many of these in colour?
Čiže ja chcem niečo ukázať. Pustím to video a ukážem vám jedno video, hej?
Well, there you go. How many kids?
Dobre, či než vyhľadáme ďalšie, vám chcem niečo ukázať. Prvý sex s Karlom, Eve rozprávka, dieťa v garzonke, pokus o vraždu. To je to, jak utopila pod vodou tú svoju vlastnú segru. Psycho, toto je dobré. Tu si myslela, že nikto nenahráva.
What are you doing talking about Eve?
Chápeš? A ešte vám chcel jedno... Ešte vám chcel jedno ukázať, chat. Máme tu niekde urobený záznam. Kde povedala o tom, jak mu tomu Simonovi rozrezala krk. Chápeš? Ale nevieme kto. Dobre, čo tam dáme, čo to bolo, chat? Tak. Možno už sme skúšali.
Every week, maybe less. I once asked Eleanor how often I should dust, and she said, if people ask, tell them you do it once a week, but every few weeks is okay. I think she was just trying to make me feel better. I mean, when I was there, she was hoovering every day. Ran an ordered house. You know how that generation is, putting on a brave front. She has secret stashes of cigarettes. Doug doesn't even know she smokes. When I was there, I saw her. She has these sort of porcelain vases, ornamental, next to the Reader's Digest books. Cigarettes inside. And she still has them. I mean, last time I was there, I looked in a vase. There was a fresh pack. I mean, all those years of marriage, and she still has a secret like that.
Počkaj, dieťa si rodí našlo 7, 13 nájdených. Aha, iba prvých 5 dieťa adopce. Ja to špecifikujem, čes. Times 3. Times 3.
It was supposed to be a secret. Just because Simon is dead doesn't mean I have to give up all his secrets. It doesn't have anything to do with what happened to Simon. No one murdered my husband because he cheated his expenses for a romantic weekend in Oxford.
Ty kokot, krabice, to sme skúšali včera, chalani, krabice. A aj pytle, jak tam našla tú mŕtvolu. Takže môžeme dať, že taxi, prúkaz, Oxford, bouška, milost, kokot, spánek, čo ti jebe, kniha, cigarety, vztah. Kerku sme dávali. Tetování sme dávali. Tu sme našli všetko o nich. Rapunzel, to neviem, čo je Rapunzel. Čo to je? Čo je Rapunzel?
Did I pass? Sorry, I messed it up with all that Rapunzel stuff. Do you need me to do that card again?
Kartičku. Popsať znovu. Obsah. Trest. Čo sa mi dá písať? Narozeniny? Narozeniny, to sme kúkali pred chvíľočkou. To sme kúkali teraz. Dobre, ďalšia bola Helen. Diana. Šéf. Jak sa povie ešte šéf po česky? Nadřízený s Y. Polície.
When will the police let me back in the house? They let me take a bag of clothes with me, but...
No, chyba toho party, kokot. Oslava. Podezřelá.
This is the third day running you've called me in. I speak to Doug and Eleanor every day. They say you've been asking a lot of questions about me. Should I be worried? Am I a suspect?
Počkaj. Spoiler ako ochot, počúvaj, takže matka. Bolo knihou. No máš spoiler, tu vyskočil, chápeš? Počkaj, takže matka niečo spravila. Jak sa volá aj matka?
Yeah. I've been round to Doug and Eleanor's and they're very worried. I feel sorry for them. Yeah. 1984 was an awful year in the end. We were living at Doug and Eleanor's. I lost the baby at the end of spring and my parents died in the summer. It was a hot summer, a heat wave. So when they discovered the bodies, it was just awful. Because of the circumstances, them dying together like that, they brought in a lot of police. A forensic entomologist. I had to look that up. It was because of the heat. It was just awful.
Počúvaj. Jak ale sa dopracujeme k tomu, že zistíme informácie o tom, že to bola naša mama?
Yes. I speak with Eleanor at least once a day. Not that there's anything much to say. It's more just...
Kafe?
years back. It was a present to myself. I shouldn't even be drinking coffee with the baby. It's been hard trying to give it up. I think they say you can have 1 cup. No. I've had enough coffee for today, thanks. Glass of water. No. I've had enough coffee for today, thanks. Coffee, I guess. Milk and sugar.
Čaj? Druhá byla čaj vlastne, že? Tak to sme mali. Voda. Voda. Aby sme tam, že vémola. Nič do píče. Dobre, musíme... Niečo nám hovorí, nejaký hlas spozí nám hovorí, že má s tým niečo spoločné mama. Takže vieme, že tam je Hannah, Eve, každá popísala tú vraždu úplne ináč. Jedna je úplne chorá na hlavu, druhá trošku menej. Krev.
Okay. I've given blood before. Do you need to take that for your records? Nothing like this has ever happened to me before. The blood. It's probably the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
Nejhorší věc, nejhorší. Píče.
Yeah. They'd gone to bed feeling ill, thinking it was flu or something. The neighbour called me, I had to use my key to let them in. We found them dead in their bed. And they'd been there for days. No one had noticed. Just awful. It was so soon after my miscarriage. The worst year of my life. I'd been so happy to get married, and after that it was just like, fuck.
Potom sme skúšali, či už. Potom sme skúšali. Potrebujeme niečo hrúza. Soused. Neviem písať. Rok.
Yes. I inherited it from my parents, so it made sense to move back. Me and Simon. Felt like going back to old ways before the pregnancy. Reminded me of being a girl, a dollhouse in the attic, old things. We didn't sleep in my parents' bedroom for a long time. We decorated it as soon as we moved in, but it was another year before we started sleeping there.
Rez, daj tam, láska. V jednom záznamu řekla rok 1984, tak to skús. 1984? Suché hrdlo. Rodina. To sme mali, táta, máma, zlý, dobrý.
I guess you could call it that, but
Neveľa sme dávali, že boli sebe lojálni úplne.
Happy to get married. It was a beautiful wedding. We had our first dance to come back and stay. I'm not sure if that's a good wedding song, but I loved it. I chose it. I mean, it was genuinely our first dance. We'd never danced together before. It was probably awful to watch, but I enjoyed it. It felt like it was just me and Simon for that moment. Just the two of us.
Tetovanie má iba jej segra, tá druhá to nemá. Jedna je Hannah, druhá je Eve. Skúsime dať čas.
Hurt someone? Yes. But everyone thinks that from time to time, right? You just want to lash out.
Game tam je 2,5 hodiny, fakt?
The legal stuff was completed very quickly. Hannah moved back in with Simon. Eric gave Simon the week off to help with the move. He decorated, modernised wallpaper curtains. Hannah insists the attic be left as it was, dollhouse and all. Simon never went up there.
Domeček pro panenky. Počkaj, ešte dobrý.
You want me to play something? I'm not the world's greatest guitar player. Okay? Probably needs tuning. No. How about a traditional ballad? Should be right up your street. Sisters came walking by the sea. Oh, the wind and the rain. The eldest one pushed the other one in. Oh, the dreadful.
Jadze prišiel, Alexik. Čau. First time chatter.
Both had a love for the captain's son. Oh, the wind and the rain, but he only cared for the youngest one. Oh, the dreadful wind. Oh, the eldest envied her sister fair. Oh, the wind and the rain, with a pretty little face and her long blonde hair. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain.
Milovali tie české, v češtine tam môže byť Y, nie?
So she pushed her in and held her down. Oh, the wind and the rain watched her as she slowly drowned. Oh,
Ženy.
the dreadful wind
Povedzte,
and
že mi.
oh, she floated up and she floated down. Oh, the wind and the rain floated till a ship came by. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. Out comes the captain's son. Oh, the wind and the rain. Father dear, here swims and swan. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And then it gets really weird, so I think that's a good...
Čiže čo bolo predtým, čo sme dali vyhrávať predtým? Čo sme dali vyhrávať predtým, čet? Panenky, ok, panenky.
Yes.
O Doom pro panenky.
That's my guitar.
Počkaj, to je jej? Doom pro panenky. Doom pro panenky. Počkaj.
Yes. I read a lot as a child and watched lots of TV. Then the doll's house we had, we still have in the attic. It's kind of a fairy castle. We used to play up there and make up our own stories.
Doom pro panenky sme tam dávali.
She recognised me from the window. She told me to come inside and she hid me. They had made the attic into a place where Hannah could play. It was a dollhouse. She hid me up there. No one else ever went into the attic. It was her place.
Húra. Húra. Zámek.
Yes. I always pull it shut and then lock the bigger lock with the key.
Klíč. Púda. Podkrovy. Podkrovy. Aké tam máte ičet? Meké? Čechuni. Podkrovy. Vzkaz? Nič. Alkohol. Žbitov. Dopis. Pravda. Opak pravdy je čet. Lož. Tu je u nás, u vás je strach, lež. Strach a lež môžeme dať.
No, he was as shy as me. I asked a friend to ask him out for me. We had our first date at the Odeon in North End. We went to see Risky Business. I had on my one best dress. Simon paid. He bought me a whisper, and I was worried about getting chocolate on my teeth.
Dobre, skúsime strach, lež. Jak to nájdeme, kurva? Ukáž. Píče. Mejžen, rozmýšľaj do píče, poďme. Pomoc. Proč? Proč som dal, dívaj sa. 4 nové videa.
I mean, I don't know. Something must have happened to him on his way home. He could be hurt. I mean, why hasn't he phoned? I don't know.
Přiznání môžeme dať.
God, I don't know. Could be anyone. Maybe someone follows him back from the pub. But why would he let them in? Doesn't make sense. You're reaching here. And I don't know why. No, I've never cheated on anyone. I've never taken anything from anyone. Simon is dead. But I have my baby to care for. Why are you trying to make me sad? Why are you so obsessed with sex and affairs? You cheated on your wife. Is this your thing?
Už máme všetky dôležité veci, príbeh si už našiel. Nenašiel som nič o mame a likla mi tá hra, keď som mal to na high chat. Dívaj sa. Niečo, že urobila proste naša matka. A neviem, čo to je, chápeš? Takže to som ešte nenašiel.
What did your wife do? She didn't kill you. You think I killed Simon because he was having an affair? Well, I didn't kill him. I wasn't even there. I was in Glasgow worrying about whether my baby was still growing inside me. I mean, why would I kill Simon? I loved him.
Toto sa stalo rodičom na Nadež. Nie, že čo sa stalo rodičom, ale že čo spravila, že či sa ma pýta, že či rozumiem tomu, že prečo to moja mamka spravila. Chápeš? Takže asi toho Simona zabila moja mamka. Ale to je píčovina, lebo Eve vypovedala, že to urobila Hana s tou hrdlom alebo čím so zrcadlom. Vieš, doznání. Doznání. Plot. Čo je plot? Neříkala včera, že její rodiče jsou mŕtvi. Hovorila a obidve to hovorili, tuším, a každý povedali ináč. Jedni, že sa otrávili hubami niečím a druhý neviem čím. Možno Možno sa otrávila, možno je pravda, že že jed skúsim dať. Možno sa fakt otrávili houby. Múrka. Neviera. Tráta. Však možná ich otrávila tá matka, no? Aj svojho manžela, aj seba. Auto. Dárečky. Piči, jak by sme sa tomu dostali? Že... O čom by sme sa mohli rozprávať, aby sa tam niečo priznalo niečo? Kdy? Noc. Jak?
He has a wallet, a huge silly thing, leather, real leather, I think. He packs it full of stuff, business cards, receipts, lottery tickets. He always carries it in his back pocket. I think that's why he's got a bad back. Sets the discs. I haven't seen it, so he must have it on him. He always takes it out of his back pocket before, when he comes in, if he's in the house.
Before?
When you've been married for 10 years, stuff accumulates. We could argue about anything. And he's so nice. That doesn't help. He tries to smooth things over, and that just makes it worse. We're both passive-aggressive, so we never normally argue directly about anything.
Čo? Že to je iná, to není onačec. Jebej. Agrese. Peníze. Všetkým hľadajú peniaze, dívajte sa.
I'm not sure where the dollhouse came from. I don't know if it was given to them or they inherited it. I mean, they wouldn't have had the money to buy it. It was so huge. It must have been taken up to the attic in parts and then reassembled up there. It's a beautiful thing. Wallpaper to scale, little furniture, the lights work, mirrors, beds, big duvets and pillows. We spent hours and hours playing in it, invented all these characters and families who lived there. We wrote paperwork for them all, passports, diaries, gave them all really elaborate stories. Once, a moth got trapped in there. We'd left a light on. It was making the most horrendous noise. We tried to kill it, but it was tough. We ended up crushing it under a copy of the Arabian Nights.
Krk. Políbek.
Yes. I thought about telling Hannah. I felt guilty after the kiss.
Ona je blázon, nevieme.
But then it
Vyberá
became
to.
like this was the way it should be. Sharing. Like we had before. He never mentioned her to me. There was the Simon with me and the Simon with her. It was almost like it was a different Simon.
But. Ale. Proč? Jedine. Dvojčata.
Twins? Really? Are you really asking me that question?
Tak jebla.
Are you out of your mind? Twins? There were always princes and princesses. They were the special people, more important than the other characters in their stories. We knew we were like that. Twins. Magical. We were the princesses. We had a poster of Princess Diana from the newspaper up in our attic. Had a pride of place. And underneath we used to put all our special things.
Princezny.
When her engagement was announced, we were obsessed with everything she did. And later, when her life went so bad, we felt for her. Her divorce last year just kind of drew a line under things.
Sme princezny a rozvod. Princezny.
Yeah, we were 17. It was a nice wedding, people said. Simon looked very handsome in the photos. His parents paid for everything, but he's an only child, so it was important to them. It was what they called a shotgun wedding, but if you looked at the photos, you couldn't tell. The dress was beautiful. It looked like Princess Diana's. The train wasn't quite as long, though. There's a great photo of the bridesmaid helping to carry it out of the car.
Družička. Princezna. Diana. Nič. Podvod. Sport. Tanec. Smích. Pláč. Blázen, heslo, přiznání, aféra. Nic z toho, bráško. Nic z toho. Kuda sme dávali. Domeček, panenka. Jak sa povie panenčín dům? Panenky dům. Dům panenek. Dům panenky. Dům pro panenky. Výpečky se zelím. Stek. Zabití. Ona. Ona ji viděla. Kapsa dům před manželství. Kapsa? Prečo kapsa? Tu je niečo.
A week or so ago. It would have been the Saturday before my birthday. You know, I get like that on the weekends, have a lie-in, then want to get up and blitz the house.
Úklid. Sobota.
It was late, early Saturday morning.
Sobota ráno. Neskoro. Pozdě. Prso? Prečo prso? Pondelí. Aké je pondelí? Tvrdé či meké? Jak to tam máte vy v Čechunsku? Pondelí meké. Úterý. Jak tam máte ička vy hňupy? Tvrdé? Úterý. Čiže ja som není Čech, vy dementi, vám ako máte gramatiku, vy blázni. Kokot, úterý, čo to kurva je? Chat, hľadáme, čo tam ešte môže byť. Na mnou. Počkaj, čo? I will be outside, log off and meet me over the road. Že mi to vysvetlia?
I would have been a good mother. I was young, but I would have been a good mother. She was a girl, by the way, the baby. We were going to call her Sarah. Simon wanted to call her Ava after his nana, but I didn't want her to have a symmetrical name.
Čo keď je starý prípad, chat? A ona je moja matka. Ava. Babička. Bába. Deda. Dedek. Starý rodiče. Očer, my vieme, že... Počkaj. Však to psal, že to je tvoja matka v tom chatu? Počkaj. Aha, ja som kokot. Akože moja matka, že prečo to spravila. Ja som myslel, že akože prečo to ich matka spravila. Aha. Takže to je moja matka do piče. Jedna z nich, ty kokot. Help, nič nejde. To je zajímavé. Ja neviem, čo vám môžeme vidieť, jak môžeme pokračovať ďalej. Ja sa s nimi možno stretnúť chat, ale možno vám povie viac. Takže vieme, že jedna z nich je naša matka a jej jeblá segra. A jedna z nich zabila našeho tatka. Chápeš? Lebo podrezala hrdlo. Ale prečo? To nevieme. Čo mám sa robiť s mikrofónom? A teraz mám taký veľký. Jedna má kérku, viem. Život, smrt, srdce, vlasy, holka, kluk. OK. Život.
Really? You're going to ask me about my sex life? I mean, isn't that private? Are you married? How is your sex life?
Bod mrazu, ne.
Our sex life is probably fairly average for a couple after 10 years of marriage.
Život, vlasy.
What kind of hairs?
Srdce. Zrcadlo. Zrcádko. Zrcátko.
He wasn't present so much. It was one of those arguments that had been simmering for a while.
Nič sme počuli všetko. Kostel.
Let me see. Yes. I drove in here because I remember well I went over the river.
Nie,
and then there was
všade.
a church. There. Yeah. And I probably well, I remember seeing a street sign called Princess Street. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it must be this one. There. Okay, you got me. I'll confess. We were there. It was a dirty weekend. Simon was going to expense it, pretend it was a business trip. I used a made-up name. We stayed at the hotel, had room service, didn't leave the room, had a great view of the river, and you could hear the church bells.
Zvony. Řeka.
Like you said, it was very romantic.
Řeka. Zvony. Romantické. Výhled. Moře. Čo keď si vymýšľala, že potratila a nepotratila a ty si jej dcera, o ktorej nevie? Čo? Ulice. Garzonka. Super ráno video s kerkou a ráno bez kerky a všimni si dátum. Vieš čo, ako dátum je plus minus pár dní rozdelený, ja to sledujem, ale rok je vždy rovnaký. Piči, čo ma spravíme? Čo tam môžeme dať, koľko nám to chýba, ukáž? Kontrola databázy, niečo nám tu chýba, čet. Glasgow sme myslím, že už hľadali. Glasgow. Aféra. Divný. Podivný. Jak to povie, keď žal? Smutek. Jak čiaga do toho stolu, to musí byť nejaké heslo. A tu nie je teraz o heslo. Tu skôr ide o... Chápeš, tá konverzácia je nahraná. Takže my len hľadáme v súboroch, o čom sa oni mohli baviť s agentom. Len ten agent bol očividne totálny kokot. SOS to sme skúšali. Smysl.
And the Glaziers. I worked there some weekends and Simon had a part-time job there too. That was Eric's generosity. He was always good at helping out other people's children. Simon was quiet, more thoughtful than the other boys. Even then, he had a sense of craftsmanship. Wasn't always rushing stuff. Boys that age are just running around like headless chickens most of the time. Yeah. Plus, he had that look. He looked like a fairy tale prince from one of my books.
Sklárny. Sklárny. Prince.
anyone really changes. You just become more yourself. Simon was my prince, and that hasn't changed.
Však keď nám hovorila, že je tehotná a že ako bude sa ma vychovať, tak ty si asi to dieťa čaká, či? Tu je zase druhá vec, že jedna z tých segier mala nejaké to decko v tej garzonke, len povedala, že sa o to nemôže starať, či čo, nie? Do piče, ne? To bolo, sme na začiatku kúkali. Neviem, jak to bolo presne. Čiže ja podľa mňa by som mal výjsť von, odhlasiť sa výjsť von a nám to možno vysvetlí. Zmena. Šaty.
Hannah was so smitten with Simon. She started getting jealous, didn't want to share. Even the first date. We went to see Tom Cruise at the Old Odeon. We both went, kept changing places in the toilet. We only had one best dress, so we had to keep swapping clothes. Must have thought we had terrible bladder problems. The next date, it was my turn. At the end, I let him kiss me. But that was it. We didn't want another card on our hands, and the Ouija board had said to hold back. After that, it was Hannah's turn, and she slept with him. Broke the rules. Deliberately broke the rules. She wanted to be the first to sleep with him. I mean, that's when she got pregnant. From that one time.
Yikes. Huh. On je offline, že ma čaká, chápeš to? Over the road. Pravidlo. Tabulka, povedal niečo tabulke. Práce. To je videa.
No. I'm not sure what Strange would be, but he hasn't been acting odd. He's been busy at work, but nothing too stressful. Yes, this is it. He made it himself. It was a special one-off.
To zrkadlo?
He made it and decorated it. That's his thing. Where did you find it?
Udělala.
Okay. She's being chased. They're trying to catch her because she did something bad. I guess she broke the rules. Or maybe they think she did something bad. Maybe it wasn't her fault. She looks scared, not guilty. Maybe it was mistaken identity. Did they catch her there? I don't know.
Prečo ti občas príde, že obe rozprávajú, že mali manžela toho istého? Však mali, ty blázen, nie? Však oni si všetko striedali, všetko vymieniali. Chápeš, preto keď si na rande, môžem dať chyba, keď si mi na rande, preto si prezliekali šaty, aby išla jedna na vecko, prezliekli sa, išla druhá za ním. Oni si všetko šerovali a že boli úplne totožné. Keď mala jedna modrinu, tak druhá si ju spravila, aby ju mala úplne rovnakú. Tak on to musel zistiť, tak skús niečo s tým spojené. Pravda? Dozviedel. Tajemství. Bujak, ďakujem, ty pojďme na to resub. Zistení. Zistil. Odhalení. Výslech. Našel. Zistil. Test.
My name. That was the only question I failed. Your lie detector works. Black coffee, thanks. No sugar. Sweet enough as it is.
Nie, ja som lesky, ja som kokot. To čo je? Povedal, sme na to prišli? Počkaj, čo? To nechápem. Ešte ich tu máme nejaké. Bože, kde je ten blázen? Jaj, to bolo ako, že ono je... Aha, ja to chápem, chat. Tak ty vlastne si len zistuješ pičovný blá 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 blá, ty sa tam viac potom chápeš, nedozvieš? Ty tam sa potom odhlásiš a prešiel si hru, keď máš dostatočné množstvo informácií. Chápeš? Barva. Porod. No keď takto chápe, určite to nie si ty. A čak, ale možno, ja neviem, ty kokos. Doktor? No jednou sme to prešli, to už je fuk. Znásilnení? Nie, ona nebola znásilnená. Podle autora nedal jasný konec a přijdeš si prostě na co přijdeš a vyvodíš si vlastní pravdu nebo tak nějak. No, tak jak máme veriť hentomu bláznovi? Dobre, takže vieme, chat. Tak ide len o nás, kdo si myslíme, že to je. Z tých dvoch. Chat, kde je to video? Čo tak proste rozprávala, že si a na konci proste úplne preplo a jebla ten nožík týko do toho a bol lyžičku do... Klamala, keď povedala meno, čiže len jedna, tak ale jedna má kerku, druhá nemá. Myslíš, že ju iba lepila? To je ešte veľa, ty kokos. Môžeme pozrieť ending na onom. Môžeme pozrieť, jak to vypadá, keď to je celé dorobené. My to nehľadáme týždeň, to je dosť komplikované. 10 minút, ok, že tam veckou môžeme to pozrieť, hej? Podľa mňa si dá spraviť, lebo dátumovo to sedí. No ukáž.
Her Story is a fascinating game about piecing together the story of Hannah Smith as she gives interview testimony on 7 different occasions. As you pull clips from a computerized filing system by searching for words spoken in that video, you'll unravel the truth and understand what happened and why. But the game is open-ended and in a way open to interpretation. There's no quiz at the end, no video clip that explains everything, no final cutscene, so you're left to puzzle out exactly what happened on your lonesome. If the game left you confused, let us explain what happened. And as we said at the top, this will spoil the game, so this is your last warning to leave the video before you ruin this brilliant indie game for yourself. Okay, go on? Good. Right.
Počkaj. Takže, či sme to dali, alebo nedali čet. Takže, vy si myslíte, že je chorá, alebo není chorá? Ako chorá bude, ale či boli 2, alebo neboli. Lebo ja si myslím, že boli nakoniec... Či myslím, že neboli? Ja neviem, že tetovačka, čet. Boli 3? Mňa by si to dohrať nekladá pičoviny? My to máme už koniec, len by sme museli, tam, teraz to povedal, že to je otvorený koniec, že ty si máš len domysleť, vieš? Tetovačka z kinderka, keď je na psychiatrii, by si dával tetovačku z kinderka, jeden deň, druhý deň, tretí deň, štvrtý deň, piatý deň.
Killed her husband, Simon Smith. That much I think anyone could have predicted. What you were probably surprised to learn is that you're not just watching Hannah give testimony, but also a woman who looks exactly like her, called Eve. We think that on June 18th, Eve is being interviewed, but pretending to be Hannah. Then on June 25th, it's Hannah, and on June 27th, Eve is back, again pretending to be Hannah. We think this because we will later learn that Hannah receives a bruise on her face in a fight before any of the interviews take place, but she only has it during the second interview. In the third, it's gone, and Eve touches the wrong side of her face.
I have a really fast metabolism, so stuff like that just comes and goes.
The woman in the third clip also has morning sickness, and we'll soon find out that Eve is the one who is pregnant. On the 30th of June, Hannah is back. We know this because she has no tattoo on her arm, like Eve does in the next session on July 1st. It's hard to tell who is there for the short interview that takes place on July 2nd, but on July 3rd, it's definitely Eve. She fails a lie detector test about her name.
Yes, my name is Hannah Smith. My name? That was the only question I failed. Your lie detector works.
And then fesses up. This interview with Eve in the white shirt is the source of most of the truth about her story, though I guess the caveat is that we don't get Hannah's side of the story on any of this, so we just have to trust what Eve is saying. With that being said, let's go through everything from the girl's birth to this testimony in a whirlwind tour of Hannah and Eve's life. This is her story. First of all, the girls are indeed twins.
When Hannah was born, I was born at the same time. The midwife was there to help. I'd been throttled by the cord, probably wrapped around my neck by Hannah. The midwife told my mother I was dead.
But a midwife called Florence split them up, took Eve in and raised her as her own daughter. Eventually, Hannah and Eve meet.
We must have seen each other before, but there was this instant when we first realised it wasn't a reflection. The reflection was staring back.
But when Florence dies, Eve goes to Hannah's house and lives in Hannah's attic. Throughout their childhood and teenage years, the two girls would swap places. They embrace each other's unique strengths and keep a diary to stay on the same page.
If one of us got hurt, the other one would have to be hurt
No
too.
všetko to počuli to dobre.
A grazed knee, a bruise. When I lost my tooth first, we had to pull our Hannah's to match.
They also shared boys, but when Hannah meets Simon, she decides she won't share this man with her twin sister.
Hannah insisted I not pretend to be her around Simon, let alone sleep with him. We didn't share him like the others. The rules had changed.
And things get especially complicated when Hannah gets pregnant and moves out of her family house and into Simon's. Eve tries, but she can't get pregnant to match, and she's stuck in the attic of Hannah's parents' house. But then Hannah loses the baby, and doctors say this made her infertile.
I was infertile. Thought I was. They told me I was infertile after the miscarriage because of complications.
That same year in 1984, Hannah's parents die, and Simon and Hannah move into the parents' home. But Eve moves out.
Got a small bed sit. Got my tattoo to mark the occasion. I was singing in a bar in the evenings.
Then one day, she meets Simon at a show.
He saw me singing one of my shows. Pure chance. Not sure I remember what he was even doing there. Afterwards, I had a drink at the bar and he came over and we got talking. I knew who he was. Obviously I knew who he was. But he didn't know who I was. He was fascinated by the likeness.
They sleep together and Eve gets pregnant, but she doesn't tell Simon or Hannah.
I had always thought we were infertile. Both of us. I didn't tell him.
On the twins' birthday, the day of the murder, Eve tells Hannah about her baby.
I told her because I thought she would be happy for us both.
But she lies about the father.
I told her it was one of my boyfriends, someone I had met in the bar.
When Simon comes home that day, he gives Hannah a unique mirror as a birthday present.
He made it himself. It's a special one-off. He made it and decorated it. That's his thing.
Hannah then finally tells Simon about Eve and Eve's pregnancy and says she wants to help her twin sister.
Afterwards, she told Simon about me, told him I was pregnant. She wanted me to move in with them, this sister he didn't know she had.
But
She knew that instant. The look on his face. She knew.
so she kicks him out. Hannah calls up Eve and they fight.
We screamed at each other, argued, cried, we fought. I hit her back, left a bruise. I had my wig on from performing, she tore it off. Eventually, we grew tired of fighting and I left.
Eve goes to Glasgow in her car.
I was driving badly and I hit a taxi. Not a big crash, just paintwork. He made sure I got to the hospital so they could check me out. It was fine. The hospital must have details when I was looked at.
Which makes her say,
That should eliminate me as a suspect. If I was in Glasgow, can't be in two places at once.
more on that in a moment. Back home, we get this.
Her story is that she'd waited for him to come back. She put on my wig, some of my clothes, pretended to be me. He said he wanted to be with me. Then he took out a present, another mirror. just like the one he'd given her earlier.
Yikes.
That unique present. She went crazy, smashed the mirror. They argued, screamed. He hit her. So she grabbed a piece of the mirror and just swung it round. She cut his throat clean open.
Yikes. So Eve returns home and finds Simon dead.
I walked in, saw Simon. He was on the floor of the living room.
And Hannah is there, covered in blood. The two hide the body, and then the watch.
The watch, that was my touch.
They set the time to when Eve is in Glasgow to make the alibi stick. Eve, pretending to be Hannah, then goes to the police, saying Simon is missing. She returns a few days later and says she found the body.
To sme počuli o tých hodinkách.
Cold all over.
Že ich zmenila čas.
I went down there with a torch and went straight to the back. And that's when I saw the bin bags.
Ale netuším.
Pulled them open, saw the body.
But things start to get a bit messy when the police find hairs from Eve's wig.
Could the hairs have come from somewhere else?
And then the police, like you do, suspect Hannah of being two people.
Twins? Really?
Finally, Eve confesses all, as you've seen in the clips above. Eve then asks for a lawyer.
I'd like to speak to a lawyer now. Please. You have no murder weapon. You have nothing. And all these stories we've been telling each other. Just that. Stories.
And then we get the final word on Hannah.
My sister is gone. And she's never coming back.
And that's the story, or at least that's what we hear from Eve. Maybe there's more to it. Perhaps Eve and Hannah aren't different after all, and this is just some maniacal plea to get out of jail. Or maybe Eve murdered Simon and is blaming Hannah. That much is up to you to decide. Let us know your theories in the comments below. But thank you for watching, and I hope you
Až na to, že stoplatie hodinky, že to bola
enjoyed
to
the game.
tak sme vedeli, že to spravili oni ešte.